Let's talk about the babyfication of children in our society and how you can foster independence in your children so that you can be less burned out. Children these days seem not to be able to do as much as they used to back in the day. When we were growing up, when our parents were growing up, there were things like corner stores that children could independently walk to. Children had to stay alone by themselves. They had to cook and they had to clean and they had to learn to be adults. Instead, these days, children play pretend as adults, and many, as I guess you may know, really never fully grow up. We don't have to talk about the consequences of babyfying your child. I'm sure many of you know people who you just look at and think, you're very immature for our grown age. But today I wanted to focus on how fostering independence can help you as a parent be less burned out. One of the things that I do with my children is I give them real responsibilities beyond chores. I mean, like, they go into stores with a shopping list, they get what I need, and they come out. They don't call me for help at this age, 9 and 11, because they know what to do. They know how to make decisions. If they can't find something, they know what to replace it with, or if to get it at all. They still make mistakes. They may bring back the wrong thing or not be able to figure out the change at the counter if they happen to use cash. But there are so many nets in our society today. It's almost very hard for children to fail if you create independence in them. Another thing that my children do is they cook a lot. As a matter of fact, as I prepared for this video, my youngest daughter, who's 9, made dinner with the air fryer. She air fried her up some chicken, chopped up some veggies, and made macaroni and cheese on the stove. How did this start, though? I'm not suggesting that you just thrust your kids in the kitchen. I started when my children were toddlers. It's a mindset that you have to have, that your children have to grow up and be independent, age appropriately. When my daughter was around 2 or 3, she wanted a banana. I told her, go get it. I'm tired of getting you a banana. Mommy's tired. She climbed up on the counter and got herself a banana. She was very happy with herself. And then she said, Mommy, open it. And I said, no. How many bananas do I have to open in my lifetime? I'm tired. I'm done. It's been 2 years, not 2, maybe a year of opening bananas. Learn to open it yourself. She was frustrated. She couldn't get it open. But it's okay for children to struggle. After a couple minutes of a productive struggle, I showed her how to open the banana. I take my nail and I cut a little piece, and that's how I break it open. Oh, she said. She tried to get it with her nail. Sometimes she could, sometimes she couldn't. When she couldn't, she'd say, I can't get it. I don't have a nail like yours. And I'd say, you're right. So use a knife. It's the 21st century. There are knives for toddlers that won't hurt them. You can use a plastic knife. It's not going to hurt you. And if you get a little paper cut from a plastic knife, well, so be it. You're going to learn how to open that banana. And do you know how proud she was to use a little knife and open up a banana? Very. You know children want to be independent. So why are you stopping them from being independent? So some people might say, that's lazy parenting. You don't cook for your kids. That's actually the opposite. It's actually very active parenting to have to teach your child to do something rather than just doing it for them. And a lot of you are parenting out of your trauma. I was going to leave this to the end, but I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. Because some people have this idea, I was never cooked for as a child, so now I'm going to make every single meal for my children. Sounds like you're parenting out of trauma because your children don't need or want you to make every meal for them. They want to be independent. On the opposite side, some people say, I had a home-cooked meal every single night growing up, so I'm going to make sure my child has that too, cooked by mom. Why? That's what you enjoyed growing up. Maybe your child might enjoy cooking once a week for the family. It's not going to hurt them to do so. So make sure you're not parenting out of your own trauma or, going back to the store situation that we said before, fear. Really, truly, it's pretty safe in the United States. Yes, there's a lot of problems, but it's also pretty safe. Not as safe as like some other places like maybe Korea or Japan, right? Where their children at 3, 4, 5 years old can go out by themselves. But it's safe for your child to walk into Target, get something, and come out with you staying right there in the parking lot. There's always going to be things that we see on the news. I know all the news stories, believe me, about children walking outside of their home, 10 steps away from their home and being kidnapped. Okay, I've seen those things, but we can't parent out of fear. We're all going to just keep our children on a tight leash because a relatively small amount of children get hurt. We can't do that. We have to save that type of parenting to more things that are more statistically possible. For example, if you say, I don't do sleepovers, statistically, we know a lot of stuff happens there. I'm not going to risk it. Okay, that's fine. But to say I can't send my child into McDonald's to do their own order because something might happen to them between the time that they step out of my car, walk 17 feet into McDonald's where I can see them and come out, come on now. Nothing's going to happen. Don't parent out of fear. Let's not do that. Be reasonable, but don't parent out of fear. So right now, and my children started this when they were young. I didn't start at the grocery store. I started at the library. I started inside. I said, go over there. Tell that librarian that you want a library card. Then come back and report to me, right? In Barnes & Noble, go, if you want a book, you don't know the name of it, go ask the person. Why do I need to do everything for you? Go over there and do that. Oh, we're at Starbucks. Put in your order, okay? Your children are capable of doing a lot more than you think. And so I just wanted to end up, I guess, with jumping back to the cooking. I didn't start off with my children making what they can make now, grits, eggs, meat, ground beef, rice, etc. We started off with small things like smoothies or things that they don't necessarily have to cook, like using a waffle maker and making waffles, or making their own peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or when they were toddlers, making their own cereal. Now, let's think. Of course, we don't want to give a toddler a huge gallon of milk, but can you get a cup, pour them some milk in that cup, and then tell them to make their breakfast? Yes, you can. And then as they age, can you use other appropriate tools to help them make their breakfast? Yes, you certainly can. They don't always get it perfect. My children might make a breakfast with oatmeal that has a ton of sugar in it, but overall, they're learning and they're growing. Another reminder that we have a lot of modern tools. So something may have been unsafe back in the day. I mean, kids did it back then, but still, even now, our stoves are super safe. The cooktops turn themselves off when they get too hot. We have air fryers that children can learn how to use. We have rice cookers. Why can't your children make rice in the rice cooker? We have toaster ovens. We have blenders. We have lighter pots and pans that they can carry themselves. It's not like it's a cast iron skillet. And we have foods that are mostly prepared. You know that years ago, there was no big market for prepared food. You would have to make your food from scratch. Now you can walk into Trader Joe's. You can go into Trader Joe's tonight, pick up a bunch of packaged food, semi-healthy, frozen vegetables, frozen fruit, and your children can learn to cook using that. So who wants to join me in stopping the babyfication of our children?